Chapter 6, Gratitude. The illustrations given in the last chapter will have conveyed to the reader the fact that the first step toward getting rich is to convey the idea of your wants to the formless substance. This is true, and you will see that in order to do so, it becomes necessary to relate yourself to the formless intelligence in a harmonious way. To secure this harmonious relation is a matter of such primary and vital importance that I shall give some space to its discussion here, and give you instructions which, if you will follow them, will be certain to bring you into perfect unity of mind with God. The whole process of mental adjustment and atonement can be summed up in one word: gratitude. First, you believe that there is one intelligent substance from which all things proceed. Second, you believe that this substance gives you everything you desire. And third, you relate yourself to it by a feeling of deep and profound gratitude. Many people who order their lives rightly in all other ways are kept in poverty by their lack of gratitude. Having received one gift from God, they cut the wires which connect them with Him by failing to make acknowledgement. It is easy to understand that the nearer we are to the source of wealth, the more wealth we shall receive. And it is easy also to understand that the soul that is always grateful lives in closer touch with God than the one which never looks to Him in thankful acknowledgement. The more gratefully we fix our minds on the Supreme when good things come to us, the more good things we will receive and the more rapidly they will come. And the reason simply is that the mental attitude of gratitude draws the mind into closer touch with the source from which the blessings come. If it is a new thought to you that gratitude brings your whole mind into closer harmony with the creative energies of the universe, consider it well, and you will see that it is true. The good things you already have come to you along the line of obedience to certain laws. Gratitude will lead your mind along the ways by which things come, and it will keep you in close harmony with creative thought and prevent you from falling into competitive thought. Gratitude alone can keep you looking toward the all and prevent you from falling into the error of thinking of the supply as limited. And to do that would be fatal to your hopes. There is a law of gratitude, and it is absolutely necessary that you observe the law if you are to get the results you seek. The law of gratitude is the natural principle that action and reaction are always equal and in opposite directions. The grateful outreaching of your mind in thankful praise to the Supreme is a liberation of expenditure of force. It cannot fail to reach that to which it is addressed, and the reaction is an instantaneous movement towards you. And if your attitude is strong and constant, the reaction in formless substance will be strong and continuous. The movement of the things you want will always be toward you. Notice the grateful attitude that Jesus took, how He always seemed to be saying, "I thank Thee, Father, that Thou hearest me." You cannot exercise much power without gratitude, for it is in gratitude that keeps you connected with power. But the value of gratitude does not consist solely in getting you more blessings in the future. Without gratitude, you cannot long keep from dissatisfied thought regarding things as they are. The moment you permit your mind to dwell with dissatisfaction upon things as they are, you begin to lose ground. You fix attention upon the common, the ordinary, the poor, and the squalid, and mean, and your mind takes the form of these things. Then you will transmit these forms or mental images to the formless, and the common, the poor, the squalid, and mean will come to you. To permit your mind to dwell upon the inferior is to become inferior and to surround yourself with inferior things. On the other hand, to fix attention on the best is to surround yourself with the best and to become the best. The creative power within us makes us into the image of that to which we give our attention. We are thinking substance, and thinking substance always takes the form of that which it thinks about. The grateful mind is constantly fixed upon the best. Therefore, it tends to become the best. It takes the form or character of the best and will receive the best. Also, faith is born of gratitude. The grateful mind continually expects good things, and expectation becomes faith. The reaction of gratitude upon one's own mind produces faith, and every outgoing wave of grateful thanksgiving increases faith. He who has no feeling of gratitude cannot long retain a living faith, and without a living faith you cannot get reached by the creative method, as we shall see in the following chapters. It is necessary then to cultivate the habit of being grateful for every good thing that comes to you and to give thanks continuously. And because all things have contributed to your advancement, you should include all things in your gratitude. Do not waste time thinking or talking about the shortcomings or wrong actions of plutocrats or trust magnates. The organization of the world has made you the opportunity. All you get really comes to you because of them. Do not rage against corrupt politicians. If it were not for politicians, we should fall into anarchy, and your opportunity would be greatly lessened. God has worked a long time and very patiently to bring us up to where we are in industry and government, and He is going right on His work. There is not the least doubt that He will do away with plutocrats, trust magnates, captains of industry, and politicians as soon as they can be spared. But in the meantime, behold, they are all very good. Remember that they are helping to arrange the lines of transmission along which your riches will come to you, and be grateful to them. All this will bring you into harmonious relations with the good in everything, and the good in everything will move toward you. End of this chapter. Wow, this is a particularly interesting topic because he speaks about gratitude in a way that is not over the top, exaggerated, and far-fetched. That's what I really like. And I will have to give you my premises before I begin talking about this. I do believe that gratitude is not necessarily the number one component of manifestation. Why? Because you simply need to impress the subconscious mind in a certain way. When you get in the state of to sleep, a passive state of mind and body, generally speaking, prior to sleep, and you impress the subconscious mind, and you do not let the subconscious mind be imprinted with other negative contradictory thoughts. So pretty much you persist in the assumption that you are the person you want to be, even though the senses might deny it, and you do not let yourself react by having a strict mental diet. So pretty much you impress the subconscious mind with the right thoughts, with the right visualization, with the right scripting, etc., etc. And in the meantime, between impressing the subconscious mind and getting what you want in your 3D reality, you have the very strict mental diet that allow you to keep and sustain the right assumption over time. Dominantly, it doesn't mean that you are 100%. It's not possible to be 100%, but your dominant thoughts will be aligned with your purpose. And you will have maybe 20%, 30%, 15% of thoughts that might be contrary. But even then, because of your mental diet, you change them and they will be pretty much in vain, and they will not lead to bringing you more obstacle or preventing you from getting what you want. However, the less negative thoughts, the less contrary thoughts you have in between impressing your subconscious mind and having it, the less obstacle you have, and generally speaking, the more natural and neutral and or positive you will feel about this manifestation before you have it, which means you don't have the desire anymore. The desire has given place to the naturals of already having it. I digress for a second, but this is important. The more you affirm, the more you visualize, the more you think, the more you will feel normal and you will feel neutral about it. Because let's say if you were to have something, for example, right now you're listening on your phone or on your computer. You already have your phone, you already have your computer. There's no desire for it, you already have it. So when you get to this naturalness with your manifestation, which pretty much feeling the feeling of having already being that person or having that desire fulfilled, that means you're doing a great job, because you have impressed the subconscious mind, and through nurturing it, through watering this seed by your affirmations and your mental diet, you will feel like it, which means that less negative thoughts will come. And even if they come, or even if there is quote unquote a reaction to the external world, a small one, you'll be able to brush it aside very, very easily. But I digress, but that was important nonetheless. So you don't need to be grateful all the time, which is important to understand. You don't need to be joyful. That's why I use the word neutral for a reason. You don't need to be joyful, ecstatic all the time to get your manifestation. Why? Because how many desires did you not have in the past that you have right now? And how do you feel about those desires? You're happy to have them, don't get me wrong. You're grateful to have them, but they're neutral, they're normal things. You're not necessarily ecstatic. If you want to manifest a specific person, yes, when you get them, you're super happy, etc., but you're not always happy all the time. So it doesn't matter that your emotion don't need to be positive all the time, grateful all the time. I was trying this I hate to admit it, but I was trying this when I first got into, especially following the teachings of Abraham Hicks. I would try my best to wake up in the morning and stay as positive and grateful, but the emotion, more of the emotion than the thought, because the thoughts, you can do it and you should do it, but the emotion, and yes, it worked for part of the day, but it's impossible to sustain it, because your emotions are supposed to come and go. It's not for you to control them. Yeah, you can let go of them, you can accept them the way they are, and you should. Your thoughts are what you need to control, and for that you don't need to be always happy. You have to be non-resistant. That's the teachings of Florence Scovel-Sheen video, audio, podcast that I will do later, but that's important to understand. You don't need to be ecstatic, joyful all the time. However, and that is important, gratitude is a superpower. Why? Because when you're grateful, what does it mean? You cannot be fearful and you cannot be in lack, because you're grateful for the things you have now. Which means that you're always looking for the good in every situation, in every person, which means you cannot react so much. Why? The example he gave about the politicians, the plutocrats, etc., and now is the right time. The rents are higher, and the pandemic, the post-pandemic era, I would say, I'm in Thailand, so the post-pandemic, we're still right into it. But in Europe, for example, where I come from, it's kind of, things are getting back to normal, people are traveling, etc., etc. And so in the West, things are moving in the right direction, I would say, at least for now. But there are consequences, and we want to blame the politicians and this and that for our circumstances and our predicaments, which is very human, don't get me wrong. And I'm not saying they're completely blameless. That's not what I'm saying at all. Like, I could go on a rant right now and talk about all the things that we could criticize them for, and people and the situation, etc. But when you are in a grateful state of mind, you want to look for the good. And when you train yourself, because gratitude is a muscle, when you train yourself to always see the good, you will see that the good is available. It's not that you're creating the good out of nowhere. Even now in the pandemic, you can see there are good things, and you have to base your premises on it could be so much worse. I think we cannot fathom how worse it could be. You know what I mean? When you think about it, that 7-8 billion of us on this earth are living on the same planet, and we're not constantly killing ourselves, and there's a lot of good things, and of course there's a lot of horrendous things, but to realize that it is amazing, it is a miracle in and of itself that we are not raping, killing each other, pillaging each other all the time. In most countries, look at what is happening in Afghanistan. It is shocking that what is happening in Afghanistan is not happening all over the world, because we are human, but because, as as I'm drawing a blank. As Earl Nightingale would say, most human beings are trying their best to be good. And I believe that. And we should believe that. If we think we live in an unfriendly universe, if we think that all of this is against us, people are against us, we will live in such a negative world, both inside and outside, because the inside translates into the outside. But if we see the good, I mean, if Frankl could see even good in a concentration camp, if Anne Frank could see good when she was trapped in, not trapped, she was secluded, hiding herself from the Nazis in this attic. I don't remember, I just watched the movie a long time ago, I forgot. But anyway, you know what I mean? If those kind of people could see good in those dire situations, in those situations where they're pretty much at the risk of dying at any given moment, dying, being separated from a loved one, having their loved one killed, tortured, etc. If they still found the place to see some good, then we have no excuse. We really have no excuse. And that's why I say it's a superpower, but almost indirect to manifestation when it comes to what I just said. When we have this global general mindset of having gratitude and always trying to see the good in every situation, we're already preventing a lot of negative things to come to our mind, therefore in our life. That's number one. But also, if we are too grateful for the things we have not gotten yet, that's even better, because we boost our power. Let's say, that's why a lot of affirmations today I started by saying I am so happy and grateful. So when we cultivate this, I am so happy and grateful to have this right now, then we are boosting. And yes, you cannot always have the super grateful, overwhelming, warm feeling and emotion of being grateful, but by training ourselves to fix our mind upon the good all the time and being thankful for the good things we have not gotten yet as if we already have them, then this is a superpower. This is some like Avenger type superpower, some Thor power, if you will. It's super boosting our manifestation, because once we have, first of all, the gratitude mindset of seeing good in every situation, in every people, because that's pretty much gratitude, appreciation, whatever, contentment, whatever you want to call it, is like to see the good in every situation, which means, in other words, not complaining about what is happening right now. At the very least, being at peace. Being at peace is already being grateful. So if we've had that mindset of relaxing, of being non-resistant through gratitude and peace, and if we use even gratitude towards our own manifestation, so when we manifest, we master as much as possible the attitude and the feeling of gratitude, then it will boost our manifestation techniques even more so than any other technique. When you say, I am so happy and grateful that I am with this person, that you are supercharging this manifestation. And yes, sometimes, as I said just now, you will not feel the emotion, but you train yourself. And sometimes you feel the emotion other than when you're doing your affirmation. Sometimes both. But it doesn't matter. You cultivate it in your heart, in your mind. And when you have this attitude of gratitude, of seeing the good, of mastering the emotions, of feeling at peace more often than not, then it's a cakewalk almost, you know? It's a walk in the park. It's amazing how you will feel inside and outside. So cultivate this gratitude of the mind. Cultivate it as much as possible by simply just don't go crazy. Don't try to force it or coerce it into happening. Just try to, the very best of your ability, see more good in every situation. And at the very least, stop complaining. That's the number one. Stop complaining about anything. That's the very least. That's a huge step forward. You can check the M and Folk 7-Day Mental Diet. That's a huge endeavor in and of itself. Just stop complaining. Do not dwell on negativity. When you think about, that's why I don't watch the news. That's why I don't talk to certain people. I don't read certain things. I don't listen to certain things. Why? Because there's good and bad available. I'm not saying we should forsake and not be aware that there had horrible things happening in the world. But there are a lot of good things that are happening in the world. But it's not as glamorous, and it's not as clickbaity to talk about good things. When you have negative events, you put them on the news. The fear in itself, our rage, our anger attracts us to click and consume this type of content. Who cares about inspiring stuff? Inspiring stuff is not as viral as negativity. But we can change that. And first, we have to change it in and ourselves. First and foremost, stop complaining. To the very best of your ability. It's not easy. That's why I said that gratitude is a muscle. But we need, as human beings, we need not only for us, but for the world in general, to cultivate this gratitude in and of ourselves. Thank you so much for listening. I forgot what I wanted to say. Oh yeah, I am Sebastian, manifestation mindset and meditation coach. If you want more information about me, please check the description box below. Thank you. Coaching is available. Thank you so much again, and please like, share, and subscribe for more of this type of content. Thank you so much.